This is the life story of Ruth Wagner, who honored her family in the year 2000 through the establishment of a charitable fund within the Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley. The Armbruster Dieterich Wagner Family Scholarship Endowment Fund provides scholarships to graduates of East Aurora High School. This video was produced by the Community Foundation in October 2011 in appreciation of Ruth's generous support of our organization and in gratitude for her history of service to the citizens of Aurora and Montgomery, Illinois. Elsie Ruth Armbruster was born on August 7, 1912, in Naosay Township in rural Kendall County. Family members continue to call her Elsie, although friends refer to her as Ruth. Ruth was the third child born to Herman and Hazel Armbruster. Herman was born in 1881 and died in 1959. Hazel was born in 1885 and died in 1982 after reaching the age of 97. Ruth's brothers, Glenn and Russell, were close companions of hers. Their sister Mary was 9 years younger than Ruth, so she was not present in the early family photos. When Ruth was 22 months old, the family moved to the Copland Farm on Minkler Road in rural Yorkville. The house where Ruth lived for 20 years still serves as a loving home for new generations. Ruth remembers farm life well. During the early years, there was no running water or electricity, yet she loved the fresh air and freedom of country living. When she was very young, she especially enjoyed playing house with her favorite doll in the makeshift tent on the property. Ruth and her brothers worked on the farm. They gathered the eggs, harvested the crops, and took care of the livestock. Ruth also helped to skin the animals trapped by her brothers along Morgan Creek, which continues to run through the property. She even drove the family's team of horses, which were her father's prized possession. Yet there was always time for family gatherings. Ruth and her parents loved to ride in her Uncle John Armbruster's Rio touring car. John and Ruth's father were brothers. John owned and operated J.H. Armbruster and Company, which produced cement products. Later, his sons, Carl and Harold, joined their father in the family business. John and his wife Eva also had a daughter, Hortense, who later married Dr. Joseph Watkins, an Aurora dentist who also served as president of the Aurora Public Library Board of Directors. Hortense worked at her husband's side for many years as the administrator of his office. Also present in this photo is Ruth's brother, Russell. Ruth, Glenn, and Russell enjoyed many outings at Crystal Lake with their cousins and Aunt Eva. The Armbruster name was respected and important to the Aurora community. Each generation worked hard as entrepreneurs and civic leaders. Ruth's brother, Glenn, entered the insurance business. He died in 1990. Her brother, Russell, eventually became an osteopathic physician and practiced in Pontiac, Illinois. He died in 1950 at the age of 42 in a car accident. Ruth's sister, Mary, was a graduate of Copley Hospital School of Nursing. She then joined the United States Air Force, where she served as a nurse. She later married and had 4 children. Ruth attended the one-room Cutter Country School for 7 years. Beginning in 8th grade, she lived during the weekdays in Aurora with her father's sister and brother-in-law, Ethel and Phil Reedy. This made it possible for her to attend the East Aurora schools. In 1930, Ruth graduated from East Aurora High School. After graduation, she worked at the Household Finance Corporation, located on Fox and Broadway in the Mercantile Block in downtown Aurora. While at the firm, Ruth served as the business manager. A business colleague introduced her to her future husband, Leslie Thomas Dieterich, at a local social event. Leslie, or Les as he was called, was a banker at the time. The Dieterich name also was important to Aurora. Les's uncle, George N. Dieterich, was a manager of the Beacon News and a member of the East Aurora School Board. Dieterich Elementary School was named after him. On November 12, 1932, Les and Ruth married and made their home at 1112 Southeast River Road in Montgomery. The home was built by Louis and Clara Dieterich, Les's parents. Louis worked for the CB&Q Railroad for 52 years and was a talented musician. The property on which the house is located was the site where a log cabin once stood. It was in that log cabin that Aurora Township's first white child, Emmeline Elliott, was born on August 5, 1836. The 2-acre lot included the spring-fed Elliott's Creek. In 1937, the creek dried up due to the building of Mastodon Lake at Phillips Park. A plaque on a boulder adjacent to the home tells the story of this historic property. As of 2011, Ruth remains a resident in the house where she has lived for 80 years. On April 11, 1935, a son was born to Ruth and Les. They honored Ruth's family by naming him Thomas Armbruster Dieterich. Tom was a graduate of East Aurora High School and Northwestern University. He then received his Juris Doctor degree from the University of Michigan Law School and became a partner at Shearman & Sterling in New York, serving as an antitrust attorney. In May 1950, Les and Ruth opened the Fruit Juice House No. 6 at 611 South Broadway in Aurora. The couple enjoyed operating the store and maintained their ownership until 1965. After 45 years of marriage, Les died on December 11, 1977. Ruth continued to live in the homestead and became more involved with volunteering for local charitable organizations, including the Aurora YWCA, Aurora Historical Society, Family Counseling Service, United Way, and Wayside Cross Ministries. She traveled to Egypt with members of her church and increased her appreciation of other cultures. She received many honors, including the YWCA Woman of Distinction Award, the Kiwanis Club's Service to God and Fellow Man Award, and the East Aurora Distinguished Alumni Award. But her greatest reward was being with children. As Ruth commented, "Children have always been a part of my life and will always hold a special place in my heart." In 1989, Ruth married Al Wagner, a retired traveling auditor for Armbruster Corporation. Al worked for Armbruster for 50 years. He came to Aurora in 1962, when the local plant was opened. He was an elder of the First Presbyterian Church and had been active in the Presbytery and General Assembly, the higher adjudicatories of the church. In 2003, Ruth was named Grand Marshal of the Montgomery Fest, and her husband was proud to drive her through the town as she waved to the crowd. Ruth and Al lived happily together until his passing in 2005. Both were dedicated servants of their community and their church. Ruth has been a member of the First Presbyterian Church in Aurora since 1933. Her life has reflected her deep and abiding faith. She never failed to help those in need with a kind word or a helping hand. Ruth often quoted the final words in Sam Walter Foss's poem, "The House by the Side of the Road." "Let me live in my house by the side of the road and be a friend to man." There could be no finer words to capture the essence of this gracious woman a woman who always opened her home and her heart to all who found their way to her side of the road.